I'm Jean Nolte, editor at Fons & Porter.
And I'm Colleen Tauke. I'm the sewing specialist at Fons & Porter. In this tutorial, we will show you how to assemble the quilt called Puppy Patches.
To get the pattern for this quilt, go to our website. So this is a quilt that uses a charm pack of 5-inch squares and then background fabric. So you'll need quite a few of the 5-inch squares of the background fabric as well. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is make a little patchwork piece.
A section down through the quilt is made just with the 5-inch squares.
Okay, so we have a smaller, shorter section here that's the same as the quilt. So you can see it's put together like a checkerboard, dark, light, dark, light.
Simply just assemble rows. You're probably going to want to play with the color placement a little so that not all the same prints end up in the same place, but there we go.
But then when you go to put it together, you're going to have some that are just a little bit asymmetrical. You've got a big spacer strip in between there.
Exactly, that's what we're going to have to put together.
And then another long strip.
Now, because there's a space in between, we still want to have those rows line up across, so we're going to have to do just a little bit of measuring and a little bit of marking.
They are offset because this colored one needs to line up with the background one, but we want to make sure they will. So what we're going to do is mark this sashing strip so that it will line up. And I'm going to move this out of the way for now. So what we've done, pull this totally out of here. And of course your strip would be longer. This is just a short version. The first thing we did was mark the 1/4-inch seam.
Because at the top of your quilt's going to still have a 1/4-inch seam that hasn't been used up. And then you're going to measure the increments of your squares. Which should be 4.5 inches because these were 5 inches when they started, when we take the seam allowances out. So you get 4.5.
So all the way, and then when you get to the other end,
you should have a 1/4-inch seam allowance. So now, if your seaming is accurate, that's where it should come out at.
Okay, so this is the lengthwise of the quilt. If we put this on top of there.
And at first you think, well, this is just a solid color fabric, but the next piece we're going to put on, we want everything to line up. So
now, I'm going to have you sew this one.
Okay.
Would you put pins?
Yep, I would.
I just put maybe
just
at the intersections.
One of each intersection is a good idea.
Because then we're going to show you how to put the second one on.
And there are times when we don't, things fall how they fall, and sometimes we really want them to line up nicely.
And see, you'll notice, because that 1/4-inch
comes off the top
was there, that makes them line up perfectly at the top.
Okay.
So we need to sew that one on first.
And I'm sewing with gorgeous red thread, so you can see where I'm stitching at.
That just helps.
And as we get to each of the pins, kind of slow down, take the pin out.
I don't sew over pins. I just don't.
Some sewing machines don't mind them. Others do not like pins. So.
I just think it's safer not to do that.
I've actually hit pins before and gotten them stuck in the machine. It's not a really
not a good idea
to have happen.
This would be a great quilt for a beginner because it's pretty simple, and this making the center part there, and then just adding these few strips, you could finish it pretty quickly.
It's a great way to use all of a charm pack too, because we see prints that we like, and we think, well, if I pick just 2 or 3 of the prints, I have to leave some behind in the quilt shop. And when you pick up a charm pack, you get all of them, so you get to use everything in it.
All right, so now we would press this.
Towards that sashing piece.
Right, and so now we're going to put this other piece on here and make it line up. And so in order to do that, we need to put them right sides together, and I'm going to have to flip it over, and you'll see again.
See where those marks now match up with those seam allowances or seams that we made in the 5-inch squares.
Right.
And we do the exact same process we did before. We pin at those intersections and stitch all the way down.
And when you stitch it, flip it, you'll see that those are going to line up
it's going to get
perfectly.
That weave across.
Right. And once you're done adding the extra strips with the squares in them, you just have a plain piece on either side. And you're done.
Add your binding, and Puppy Patches is in the works. Thanks for joining us.
To see more of our videos, go to our website.